Already live. If you don't already know, I'm live here. I've been talking behind the scenes with Ethan Van Sciver, and this is the first time we've ever spoken. He answered the call. I shamelessly tweeted out to as many people as I could. Say, hey guys, I'm going live. Anybody want to talk to me about some stuff? And Ethan was like, I guess.
I do. Sure. Let's talk. Why not?
Dude, you want to know something funny? You are the first person that I've ever spoken. No, I'm sorry, second person I've ever spoken to who is what is the word? Official on Twitter? What are you verified?
Verified. You have a blue check mark.
You have a blue check mark.
Which is weird because, usually blue check marks are, social justice warriors. They're leftists. That's what they think about themselves.
I don't exist unless I have that check mark, right?
Well, yeah. But it also says something about your politics. I got my blue check mark back when it just meant you're somebody of note. It's like there might be people who want to impersonate you for various reasons. And so this blue check mark just means you're the real you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is, So since then, I've had run-ins with people who are mad at me who go, how did you get a blue check mark?
Yeah.
As if that was like like you're an okay guy, like you're somebody we like or something like that, rather than you're somebody who people know, and want to kind of imitate. So.
That's how I took it. I thought you verified you are who you are, and
that's what it should be. But people who have blue check marks now, I'm like, I'm not sure this person has 800 followers. I'm not sure why they have a blue check mark. It seems like it's becoming more and more kind of political. You know what I mean?
I never would even go there with it if that's the case, because it's like if the only people who have a blue check mark, that means you have to lean this way or have to lean that way. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Come on, really?
Yeah. You're still reasonable, It's like you're a normal person on Twitter.
Well, let's not go that far. But if I can't imagine why would that even be necessary? I mean, you are Ethan Van Sciver. I mean, and Twitter has verified that. That's how I take it.
All it means. That's all.
Right.
But I'll tell you something. Having a blue check mark is an advantage because people respond to you. If I respond, if I want to tweet at somebody who's kind of famous or even very famous, I have a more likely chance of getting a response because they just look at their verified list and they just go, oh, a blue check mark, said something to me, I'm going to respond. And more often than not, they do. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, you heard it here first, guys. Ethan is a part of the elite.
Yeah,
well,
you guys snuck in, got in under the wire.
So when the apocalypse comes, he's on the list. It's like, sorry, Chris, I'm in the bunker now. I can't deal with your radioactivity nonsense right now. Like, you have to just cut it out. But I mean, hey, it's I guess better you than me. I probably would just mess up the whole apocalypse. But you're also a comic book artist out now. Am I wrong? Do you draw live on your channel?
I mean, sometimes, Chris, not very often anymore. I find it boring. Like, people think that that's what they want to watch. They're like, why don't you draw more? And I'm like, when I do, you guys don't tune in, or you'll tune in for a second and go, and then just leave. It's really boring to watch somebody draw. But what I do is I'll make like sped up videos, so that you can actually watch me draw quicker.
In the Speed Force.
Yeah. And that's entertaining. I mean, actually seeing somebody draw, with a time lapse camera is still kind of fun. But I've got guys that I know who sit there and do, these sit down and draw with me kind of things that are really, really just boring. I'll show you one. Hold on a second. I'm going to blow this up and share my screen. And let me volume this out because I also put commentary over it.
I haven't been drawn in years. It's not boring to me. I would love it.
Really, some people say that. I mean, I think it's fun at first, and
next thing you know,
it does get boring. Watching somebody draw. All right, can you see? Can you share my screen?
Let me see if I have it right here. Let's see if I can put that up.
All right, this is like one of my videos here. Let me turn the volume off. Okay, that's my logo. The laughing man. All right, so this is what it is. I mean, this is what it looks like when I draw, but much, much slower, Chris. And I'm working on a cover for Richard C. Meyer.
who
used to run a channel called Diversity in Comics.
Okay.
His new book called Jawbreaker's God King. And
write that down.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be cool. I'm doing the cover for it, but a cover these days, especially with my schedule doing other things, takes an awful long time. Let me skip ahead. I'm drawing Cuffs here, one of his main characters. Skip ahead a little bit more. So you can, when you're actually, looking at it sped up.
Now I don't know if something froze on my end or not, but if I'm still on the logo for some reason. That's all I can see is this. The laughing man still there.
Something froze on your end. I don't know. All right, who cares? I mean, even sped up, it's not that interesting.
I'll probably have to go to another screen and pull it up.
You can go to my YouTube and ComicArtistPro Secrets, and you can see a couple of time-lapse drawing streams. It's just me inking, over blue scribble.
So if you're doing a cover for a person that's doing a book, a comic book, or an actual
book? So we do me and my friends who feel like we've been blacklisted from the mainstream comic book industry for our politics. Have a little kind of thing where we do crowdfunded campaigns. We advertise them and market them on YouTube. And do really, really well. My new book that just came out, Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Here's a copy of it. Look at this beautiful chromium cover, right?
I haven't seen that in years. That's that type of cover, that glossy, shiny type. Oh man,
isn't that sweet?
That's some Captain Phasma stuff right there.
So this is my new book. I got blacklisted from DC Comics for voting for Trump. I'm a Trump supporter, so I got blacklisted. And I just kind of went, well, I'm somebody who people know. There's a Hal Jordan Green Lantern poster on the wall behind me. I drew that back in 2005. That was a Green Lantern Rebirth. Okay. I've been around. I've done a lot of stuff. People know me. So let me see if I can actually parlay all of my experience into doing independent comics on my own and crowdfunding them. I've never done that before. And I was worried about it. I was actually really scared about it. I'm a Christian. I prayed with my wife over it. I wanted to make sure that, we were going to be okay. It was kind of a scary time, and felt pretty good. Relaunched Cyberfrog, which was a comic book that I did in the 90s when I was 20. And I just said, well, I've learned a lot since then. I can probably do a better book. And it turns out that we raised $935,000 on the first issue, on just the first. So this is one of them. I actually did 3 variants because we sold out. We had to relaunch again, sold out, relaunched again. And this is I think this is the second campaign. But we were able to do them. I mean, the whole theme, to me, like what I wanted to do was, hey, let's take comic books back. The reason why comic books might not be selling very well is because they don't look very good. You know what I mean? It's like you go to a comic book store now and they're cheap paper. The art isn't very good because they're just not selling that well. If we could actually raise enough money to make comics look like they used to, I mean, this is like a Lamborghini of a comic book. If you saw this on the stands, I don't care who you are.
It pops out to you.
You're going to pick this up and at least flip through it. And then if the insides look okay, and the insides look like this,
you'll start reading it.
Yeah. My art, my writing. You might pick it up. So we're leading this kind of independent revolution in comic books right now. And my friend is doing a sequel to his first book, Jawbreakers, Lost Souls, which raised $450,000. That you have to understand, Chris, the rest of the comic book industry is looking at us like, with a mix of envy and fury because we were supposed to go away. You know what I mean? Like we were supposed to leave.
Like, what is this nonsense? I thought we blacklisted you guys. I get that.
And we're just like getting blacklisted was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm like, I was poor before and now I'm kind of wealthy. So it's actually very, very cool. So we're still building on this and, trying to invite other independent creators in because, using YouTube and using like a platform like you have, you can market anything. And I got this idea. There were these guys on YouTube who have like 1 million subscribers talking about comic books.
Exactly.
I don't know why you're talking about Marvel. If you guys did your own comic books, you would kick their asses. It's like you've got 1 million subs. If you could get 10% of your subscribers to buy your comic book, you would beat every single Marvel comic on the stand.
That's true.
So I started my YouTube for that purpose. And
it makes sense. Especially you utilizing, like you said, you're utilizing what's going on out there. That the times are changing. It's not like they used to be back in the 80s and the 70s and whatnot. Ever since the decline of comic book sales, the guys at what's the company I'm thinking about, Image and whatnot, they thought they were the ones they were changing the game, and then at the times they did. But even I even look at them as part of like the mainstream, like I look at the big three, like DC, and DC, Marvel, and Image. Even though they probably wouldn't agree with that, but it is what it is. Spawn was the most popular book.
It was huge
in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you pick up and you do it by yourself, I think it's just a better situation. You can that creative freedom. You don't have anybody cuffing you and what that sucks if that's what they did to you. And kicking you out, especially for your politics, and it's weird for you to say that. Didn't DC or Warner's recently buy out or absorb what's the word I'm looking for? Absorb Milestone Comics from what was the gentleman's name who a long passed time away ago? And Dennis Cohen and all those guys. They own Milestone.
And isn't Icon isn't the character Icon a black Republican? If I'm remembering that book correctly. So it's like I don't think the power structure of DC Comics is opposed to Republicans at all. Okay.
I think that what happens is the way the system works is we're all reliant on each other and our willingness to collaborate with one another. So if all of these other professionals were to get together and say, we're not going to work with Ethan Van Sciver ever again, we don't want to collaborate with him for whatever reason. A company like DC Comics would have to say, well, if nobody's going to work with you, what are we going to do with you? And my answer is, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'll do it myself and I'll kick all your asses.
Yeah.
Which is what ended up happening. But yeah, it's you don't want to say that like DC or Warner Brothers is ever like prejudiced like that. I mean, I don't think that they are, but my peers are, and that's very clear right now. It was definitely clear in the days after the election when people were just crazy. People wanted to hurt each other.
Yeah. It's cliques and things like that. I have friends. I mean, I know who I am. I know where my views stand, and they don't mesh well with a lot of people. But it's never gonna dictate how I treat you. I'm a lefty. I'm a lib. I don't care. But how many Republican friends I have. It doesn't dictate my behavior and how I'm going to interact with people, because
it doesn't dictate.
We have 90%.
Obviously, I mean,
exactly. If we have 90, I guess I don't know what's wrong with people nowadays. They just don't want to admit, hey, we have like 99% of these things in common, but this one thing, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't get over it for some reason. Well, it's like I hope you never get married because exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was married to a person who thought she knew what the word compromise meant, and I'm like, this is starting to look more like you just getting 100% of what you want. I'm like, I mean, what's going on here? But
yeah.
I mean, it's just, I guess, I don't know. Society is just bonkers.
We're in a spot right now that I really think history is going to look back on. It's a lot like the witch hunts in the 1950s. We're in a really, really strange position because, I'm just a microcosm. I'm living in my own little world, but I mean, outside the bigger world, this election happened at a really, really inopportune time for if you're a leftist. If you're a lefty, you're sitting here thinking, well, if we can win this one election, then we're going to be able to appoint like 3 Supreme Court justices, all these other judges. We're really going to be able to cement leftism in this country. This country is going to really veer left, and they lost to Trump, who they think is an idiot. And now Trump is appointing like right-wing, Supreme Court justices. it's an outrage. I mean, it's not just Trump's an idiot. It's not just we can't get along. It's that they were right on the precipice of changing this country forever, and then something happened that they were not expecting. And people's hearts are broken over it. They're angry over it. The rest of the country is just kind of like, what? Like, we don't understand what the big deal is. But that is what the big deal is. And so I think when people feel like that, they take out their frustration. I realize, I fully am aware that, like, I am people who feel powerless right now. They want to take out some energy and aggression on me, because you can. I mean, I'm a punching bag, you know.
Yeah, but, you're like, you're never. I'm never going to be able to, boot the president in the bottom. So I'll just take all my anger out on the guy that's right here.
Yeah, like people in my life who I know supported him. I'm going to, and this is happening everywhere. It's not just me. You know, it's happening all over in different industries. People are being mistreated and isolated and swarmed, and we've got a real social problem right now.
Yeah. It's not isolated to Trump. I mean, I've made the same argument on the other side of it. Like when people would say stuff like, I know people that would try to get under my skin on purpose. They would say something like, Obama divided this country more than anybody else in the world. And I was like, well, I'm like, did he? Or my argument would be, was it really anything he did or said, or was it his, or was it his presence there in the election that he won, and you just didn't like that he won? So, I mean, and the same argument could be made for Trump. Is it really all the things? Well, if you ask the person on the left, it's like, yes, it's everything he says and does. But it's really more of the fact that, like what you said, the fact that they won. And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. I've done it myself. But it's like, if Donald Trump or Obama or Reagan or anybody, if they could say they can give you the most beautiful poem in the world, the greatest speech in the world, but if your mind is already made up, you're never going to hear it. You're never going to. And I'm trying to work on that myself. And
I'm the same way. I pulled back from politics because I think politics are poisonous. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of what's going on. But I no longer follow. I don't watch the news. It's not something that I think is good for my heart. At this point, I'm fully involved in comics, in that world, and trying to make money for my family, because I realize that's what's important. And very quickly that can all be taken away from you. I'm blacklisted. What if I couldn't do this? What if I wasn't good on the radio? What if I wasn't, as good of an artist as I am? I would be in real trouble right now. I'm blessed. God's looking out for me without question. And because of that, we will survive anything. We'll survive this, and we'll thrive in it. But I'll tell you, one thing that I did was I stopped paying attention to this us versus them mentality based on just disagreements. I mean, when it comes to just we disagree. I wanted Mitt Romney so bad in 2012. I thought he was going to be great. It was crushed, but I got over it. It wasn't really a big deal. And I remember saying things about Obama, saying things like, this guy's dividing the country. Everything that you just said, you're 100% right. Obama didn't divide this country. We divided ourselves.
We used him as the tool to start dividing ourselves. Exactly. And we're doing the same thing with Trump. Policies and things like that. Yeah, these people all have these influences and these powers to do some good things or do some bad things. But no matter which one they do, you're always going to have half of the country thinking that was great and the other half thinking that was bad. And that's just like you said, that's just the way the pendulum swings.
I would love it if we all just kind of got along. I would love it if we just kind of remembered who we are.
Rodney King is still trying to make that happen, isn't he? that iconic saying, "Can't we all just get along?"
Just get along, please.
Well, not if Obama or Trump wins.
Yeah. Not as long as there's somebody that we all agree with. Can we find somebody who we 100% agree with? That would be great.
I'm convinced now that the aliens will land, and I'm declaring my candidacy, and then as human beings we'll all unite. Like, I don't think we want these guys to win. That's probably the only thing that's going to happen. I mean, if the events in Independence Day would actually happen in real life, that's probably the one thing.
That's what Reagan said, wasn't it? Reagan who basically just said, like if aliens landed, we'd stop having these kind of disagreements,
Right. Why am I wasting time? Like the Klan, like, why am I wasting time with this black guy?
Aliens.
Alien is right. They're eating brains and stuff like that. We might have to look into this.
That's true. You know what? That's part of this too. We don't really have a common enemy anymore. It's like we defeated the Nazis. Communism is no longer really a threat anymore. And so, we pick at each other. I think when we had a common enemy, I think the country kind of rallies together gloriously.
Exactly.
It's almost like there's something good about war. World War II actually got, people up and remembering how precious freedom is and sacrifice and all that stuff. It was actually pretty good, except for the millions and millions of people that died. But
I was literally thinking that there's
like
a situation that you just put yourself in. You're on that split screen right now. Ethan just said, like, oh wait, let me.
That World War II was good.
Like, wait, let me finish before they start blogging.
But that's what we need. I mean, honestly, we all need something in order for people to be united. Enemy. We need a common enemy, something that we all agree is evil. And then, all these divides get bridged pretty quickly. Again, that's kind of what this is about. It's like there is a common evil. There's a common threat that comes down. And it is an alien invasion. And it does change everything.
Richard Baldwin says, "Heyo."
I sent the link out to my Twitter,
That's why you saw me looking down. I was trying to make that happen. I'm like, all right, my thumbs aren't working right now. I can't even. I'm so involved in the conversation, I can't figure out what I'm saying. I'm glad you did it because hey, hey guys, how you doing? I'm now speaking with my new brother from a different mother. Try to plug myself, but no, you're right. And before we went live, I was talking about something I was nervous about. How this conversation was going to go because I remember what I did like a year ago, and I'm thinking, I was like, are you a part of something called Geeks and Gaming? You said you're not affiliated with them, right? And
no, I'm not. I'm associated with Jeremy and a lot of people who work for that channel. Jeremy's got a different kind of idea about YouTube than I do. Jeremy's like, I'm going to build up a team, and I'm going to get all these guys with various expertise to come in and do videos for this one central channel. It's a good idea.
It's a great idea, and you know what? It was my idea years ago, and it's not. Before you guys start blogging on me, no, I'm not saying he stole my idea. Before I knew of his channel, I had the exact same idea when I started this one. Maybe I'll get people from other channels to come on and help and contribute. But it turns out I'm not popular and people don't like me. But and then when I found out,
you need to start yelling "F the SJWs" more.
I thought you were one of us. I'm like, I am, but I'm trying to get clicks. No, but. It was a funny thing. So recently I figured out that that's what their platform is, and I'm like, damn it, I had that. It's a cosmic coincidence situation where two people or 10 million people have the same exact idea, but he executed it obviously perfectly, and it's working out for him. And I felt like, damn it, maybe if I would have worked a little hard, if I'd have put the video games.
Go work for Jeremy. Why if that's what you wanted to do?
I haven't auditioned yet, so maybe he will.
Well,
let's see. I have a blog.
Yeah, no, you seem to be. You're charismatic. You're charming. You can talk. I mean, that's basically all you need to do. You need to do videos about some aspect of pop culture, and Jeremy's interesting. Like Jeremy's got his point of view, which is anti-SJW. That's what I believe too. And he doesn't like SJWs and Star Wars and the pop culture, but he has people on that disagree with him and lets them make videos. So it would more like be are your videos in service to geeks and gamers? Like, could they help his channel? Then you would do okay.
Richard says hail Caesar.
Hail Richard Baldwin. Yeah, they call me Caesar.
I was about to say, am I getting a new nickname here? Is this happening? Is this happening?
You could be Mark Antony. That's fine.
Wait, Mark, isn't that the one? Isn't Anthony the one who betrayed Caesar?
Oh no.
Was that Et tu, Brutus?
No,
Brutus.
that's Brutus.
That's Brutus, yeah.
Mark Antony got Cleopatra, though. So that's,
Yeah.
that was all right.
I heard I got my game from him. Says just like he did for her. All I do is I lick the fingers through the eyebrows, and I'm like, hey, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a restraining order, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's 100%. You got to cast it like that.
Oh my God, that used to be a friend of mine's strategy going to the club. You just go to a random girl and just say and just talk to everybody. And his line was always the same. Forgive my language for all my fellow social justice warriors, but his line was, "Hey baby, you want to fuck?" And he would say, and get the drink thrown in his face, and get a free drink. He tried to open his mouth at the right time, trying to time it. But then one day, he said it to a lady, and she looked at him up and down, and then she grabbed him right between the legs and said, "No, thank you." He was destroyed. Oh, you talk about that guy was like, he's known for like saying what's on his mind, never could stump him. Yeah. And that day he just had nothing to say. She totally destroyed him. It was the best. Oh man, they're coming in now. Ethan, what did you do? I'm not used to getting so many hits now.
I tweeted out and coming in now. They asked me, "Are you gonna live stream today?" And I said, probably, but I came on your show instead. So
yeah, how about that, guys? But we were talking. But honestly, nice season comic. It's me, Ethan, your biggest fan.
Hi.
The cat's waving too. You got a hello.
Hello.
I'm sure, and I'm 100% sure that these are all going to be for Ethan. You got he ate a pie with Jeremy.
That's the thing about me. I'm fat and I eat pies. So that's
yeah. Yes. Damn it. And and he's proud of that.
I don't mind. I like pie.
That's what he said. But
hey, Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus. Chilling with Jesus.
It's Jesus. Yeah.
with Jesus.
I called him Jesus for a while too. He said, "No, it's pronounced Jesus." I said, "That's cool." I liked it when you followed me on Twitter because it said Jesus followed you. I'm like, usually it's the other way around.
The way around, right? Like I looked back at the sand and there was one set of footprints. He was carrying me the whole time. Let's see, Hail Caesar. Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. Let's see. Maybe I should put my glasses back on.
His name's Chris. Chris, what's your last name?
Fagan.
Chris Fagan.
Chris Fagan. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Good afternoon, Ethan, and the host of this show, whose name I don't know yet. That's why I said Hail Caesar. Hail chat. I'm Titus. Was it Pulo?
Titus Pulo. Yeah, he was in the HBO show Rome. So they're riffing on Caesar right now.
I never watched Rome.
Oh, it's so good, man. If you watch Rome, just watch one episode, you'll be hooked. That's
what people keep telling. It's one of those shows that people keep telling me to go back to. But the reason why I'm gonna go through a few more Hail Black Daddy.
There's a guy named Black Daddy. He's not talking about you.
Oh man, I can't get a cool nickname. Come on. The one nickname I want.
Black Daddy is a cool name. I gotta admit.
The one nickname I wanted, I couldn't get that, but I brought about it earlier. I did a video about the whole Brie Larson thing, since we were talking about the social justice warriors and whatnot. And I just felt like at the time I was like, is it really that crucial? I mean, come on, Brie Larson wakes up in the morning and she stretches and it's like, that bitch stretched again. I can't believe. And I'm like, I felt like it was. I talked about that. I just felt like, is this an obsession? And it got to a point where I feel like I was becoming the thing that I was talking about, because my followers were like, you need to keep talking about the other social justice warriors, right? Like, you need to keep talking about this, Chris. We need to talk. You know how we get. You know how crazy people get. We need to do this. We need to shut these guys down. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not doing this. I'm not talking about that anymore because
it's a cycle. Because first of all, Brie Larson rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I honestly, I cannot stand Brie Larson,
and that's fine. But I find her very attractive.
I don't. But I gotta say, like, this is an industry, like the news industry, the pop culture news industry just feeds itself, and it is like a human centipede. Like the reason why so many people are making videos about Brie Larson is because there are so many news articles about Brie Larson. Like Brie Larson does, she wakes up and she says something, and then like all of these garbage tier news sites, all these Screen Rant, Movie Web, they all do the same article. They all write the same article, pushing the same bit of kind of inflammatory news about Brie Larson, which then, of course, YouTubers pick up. And the thing about Brie Larson is that I gotta say, I've probably done 20 videos about Brie Larson in my time, because I do several a day. So 20 of them are about Brie Larson. I meant to do 100. And the reason why I wanted to do 100 was because I did one video for Brie Larson, and it literally made me $3,000. Like that's how much ad revenue I got for that one video, $3,000. And I went, if I did a Brie Larson video every single day like this, what's going to happen? You know, it's like we're just going to crank. The money is just going to come pouring in, and it's not just me; it's all these YouTubers who are doing videos about Brie Larson. They do actually genuinely despise Brie Larson. I definitely genuinely do. And it pays me to talk about Brie Larson. And the news cycle is doing the same thing. They're offering Brie Larson articles with news that would make people dislike her.
To keep the wheel going. Right?
Everybody's making money. So
you are the only person I've seen so far. And I probably because I haven't looked, but you are the first person that I've asked that straight up honestly answered it that way. And that's exactly what I said in the video. I said Mega Random 42. I said, as much as I disagree with her on this one thing, it's just that one thing. Yeah. And I told people who were pushing me to keep that conversation going, and I refused because people aren't going to tell me what to do, damn it. But I said, what you don't also realize is that it could be one of two things. It's like you just said, it's for real. She really is rubbed the wrong way.
She gets under people's skin.
And that's genuine. She does. Yeah. And I can see why. I can see a Brie Larson and be like, yeah, I can see people not liking her. Yeah. But then I'm like, are you going to blame an actor for taking an acting job that was offered to her? Really? But then I thought, but if it's generating clicks and money, well then, yeah, I could probably hate on Chris Hemsworth too. I hate that guy. I don't know why. I just wish I could rip my arm off so I could have something to throw at him. And this is not what I really feel about him. But if I found out that tomorrow I would get 1 million views, 1 million followers from it, I would shut his ass down.
Of course. And I mean, it's genuine. See, like this is the thing. Like I don't like Brie Larson, but I find myself in that cycle. Like you make a video about her. People really, really like it. They're like, oh, that was so funny. You're getting like 500,000 views on it. You're actually making real money. I mean, that's like a mortgage payment. And suddenly you're just kind of like, hey, maybe I should be doing this all the time.
And I gave her credit, and I admit, and I said this on my channel. I think she said that, and a lot of other people said the exact same thing, but not to the extent. And I appreciate the way you honestly said it. In certain ways or in certain levels, they've admitted the same thing. And I tried to tell my followers that's one of the main reasons why. It's not that they don't believe what they're saying. It's just that when they saw the results of it, it's like, oh, I'm going to
follow your algorithm. You follow analytics. People reward you for saying that kind of thing. Now, again, like I would keep doing it, except I think I ran out of things to say. But Brie Larson at the same
time, she just got new highlights. So
she got new highlights. No, but at the same time, she's out there. She knows what she's doing. She's taking pictures of herself as a Jedi with a lightsaber. She's very deliberately letting people know, like letting us know, that not only did she invade and destroy the MCU, but now she's going to invade and destroy our precious Star Wars.
Enjoy it, haters. Here we go. Selfie quick. And that's
selfie with a lightsaber.
Enjoy it.
Jedi, bitch. It's like, she knows what she's doing. And she's feeding the news, which
and her publicist knows what to do.
It's working out for her, you know, and it's working out for other people. Now, I know why people are doing this. I would keep doing it if I could keep thinking of things to say about her, because the money's good, and I truly, honestly mean everything that I say.
I'm a bottomless well. I would never. I couldn't run out. I just stopped because I felt like I was, and that was the reason why I brought up. And it still says Geeks and Gamers. We're talking about Brie Larson, but the reason why the banner says Geeks and Gamers is because my question originally, when we weren't live, was, would that prevent me from joining Geeks and Gamers because I criticized a few people who are on the platform for contributing to that, and you said no.
Yeah,
he said no. So and I appreciate people who can, because I can take it. You could say, Chris, I don't like the way you chew your food. I don't like the way you slurp your soup, and and I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, why not?
But at the same time, you're gonna find that people who watch Geeks and Gamers are expecting a certain kind of content. They want to go to Brie Larson hatred when she comes out with a lightsaber dressed in a Jedi robe, and she's implying that she's going to be in the next Star Wars thing. People are coming to Geeks and Gamers to hear you go off on that. And
I've been activated.
If you don't go off on it, people are going to go, "Who's this guy? Why is he ruining Geeks and Gamers?" Because they're there for a certain kind of content. That's the thing that you need to consider.
Well, there's a lot of things that I love to rant about, and I can go off on. That just happened to be the one thing I wasn't, that I just didn't agree on. There's plenty of things.
Did you like Captain Marvel? You saw that movie? You thought it was good?
I did. I'm one of the ones who liked it. I know. No, don't get me wrong. Was it great? Was it perfect? No. But did I know that it was gonna entertain my kids? Yes. Did it entertain me at the time? Yes.
You had a good time.
Does my daughter have one of her toys? Yes. And that's all I asked for. Do I need Brie Larson to tell me the secrets of life? No, that girl doesn't know. No, she doesn't know that. I don't care. But there are other actors out there. I'm not gonna lie. There are some other actors out there that on a chemical level will activate me and enrage me.
Yeah.
If the time ever comes where that animal needs to come out of me, I'm afraid to do it because once that genie gets out of the bottle, once that toothpaste is out of the tube.
I'm telling you, dude, people do not forget. And I early on I saw The Last Jedi, and I was perplexed and confounded by it. I was just like furious with The Last Jedi. I walked out of it with a headache. I was upset. It hit me completely the wrong way. Maybe it hit me the right way, where I just thought, this is just a heartless movie that celebrates failure and depression, and I was unhappy with it. When you saw it in the theaters, that was at the very first time? No, I saw it. I didn't go to see it in the theater because I'd heard bad things about it. I ended up finally seeing it. I bought it the day it came out on pay-per-view cable. You can buy it for like $22, and it's still on my TV. I can't get rid of it. I sat through it, and I got on my computer, and I mostly did videos about comic books and drawing and stuff.
Right.
And I just got on my computer. I turned on the live stream, and said, I just saw Last Jedi. And I just went off for 2 hours.
You just, oh my God, he's getting disgruntled.
Just yelling.
Did you say 2 hours?
2 hours. I could not stop talking about it. And maybe
on one of the greatest films that's ever been created. No, let me see if I can trigger you.
I don't know if I have 2 hours worth of stuff to say about Citizen Kane, and I love Citizen Kane, but I could talk for 2 hours about
I could talk about Clerks all day, every day. Clerks, that's the movie for me that I can just
you like it.
Yeah.
Are you a Jersey guy?
I've never been, but I guess by in spirit.
That's where I live. I'm in Jersey, so yeah, Clerks is a staple of New Jersey. Kevin Smith and all that.
I knew there was something about you. All right, I knew. Have you been into the comic book store over there yet?
I don't think I've been over to that comic book store yet. No, but I did a little. I don't know if you know this, Mallrats. I'm in the credits. Yeah, I did I did one of the comic book pieces in the opening credits back in 1995. So you'll see my name go up at the end, in the closing credits.
I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna take a picture in front of it.
It's my IMDb. It's one of my credits on IMDb.
Hell, let me see. A couple more came through. I'm Titus. I think I've already. That's the one I've already done.
Why did you say Rome HBO 13?
Okay, that's the one we've already done.
13.
13. Super Ant Hail Brother.
They're all saying hello. They're saying hail. Hail Caesar.
Thumbs up. Let's see. Thumbs up. And Hail Caesar. Man.
Yeah.
And Black Daddy. I'm convinced that they're telling me that should be my nickname. That's gonna be. Maybe I'll put an extra D in there. We can leave if you want. No, what the hell?
What do you mean? Yeah,
no, I apologize now. I'm just not used to being in a situation where people want to talk to me this much, and it's hard for me to navigate. No, don't ever.
Subscribe to this channel, please.
The check's in the mail. But I'm glad you brought that up because that was a good segue to one of my other questions, and I was asking some friends of mine, and I don't know if I sent it to you about the Fandom Menace?
Fandom Menace, yeah.
And I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot of things, but when I'm not afraid to admit when I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm thinking it's either one or two things. It's either just like a movement where if you feel like you agree with it 100%, then you pretty much are a part of the culture, or it's something that an anointed one has to say. You are now a member of the Fandom Menace. No, is it A or is it B?
You say I'm Fandom Menace because I think that politics and identity politics are ruining Star Wars. Mm-hmm. They're ruining Star Trek. They're ruining Magic the Gathering. They're ruining Dungeons and Dragons. There are people who and you called yourself a social justice warrior, Chris. You are not. Just because you're a liberal does not mean you're a social justice warrior.
I know. I just wanted to activate somebody out there.
You're not one. Don't say that about yourself. I can tell you're not one. If you were, I wouldn't be here talking to you. You would not have invited me on the show. Like that's the thing about social justice warriors. They do not tolerate dissent. They are 100%. About forcing their politics, forcing their ideas into everything that they do and everywhere that they go. Right. So you look at Star Wars and you see feminism, third wave feminism, and far leftism, being kind of inserted into these things, and you sense that things aren't going so great. It's a little weird. I mean, it's like you go to Walmart and you see that the Star Wars toy racks are filled with toys. Female action figures, characters that like people don't want, and they're just forced into Star Wars for this weird kind of sake of, well, there's Ahsoka, yeah, everyone loves Ahsoka.
Isn't it funny how people hated her and then she just grew on people? I used to hate her.
Jeremy loves Ahsoka.
She's my favorite Jedi. Yeah.
But I
know what you mean though. On some of the other characters.
These characters all, by the way, Rey and what is the difference between oh god, I'm forgetting her name now. I'm getting old, Chris, and my brain. So the main lead from Rogue One, the girl's name from Rogue One.
That her?
There she is. Yeah. Okay. Look, she and Rey, they look exactly alike. Every single. I mean, it's a weird thing that goes on like that, and it's. Those action figures are piling up. They have toys and Barbies and everything. They're basically trying.
I don't remember anybody even buying that many action figures from her.
Nobody wants them. It's I'll tell you. I had and it's interesting. I had a toy deal with Playmates Toys for Cyberfrog back in 1997. So I was going to Playmates Toys and talking to them, and I said they're telling me like, what do you want in the first box of toys? That what's the, and I said, well, I want a Cyberfrog, I want a Salamandroid, I want Heather, and I want Rebecca, and they said, you want 2 female figures in the box? And I said, yeah, and they said, we might make a Heather toy and we're gonna ship 1 in the box.
Felicity Jones, by the way, and was it Jyn Erso?
Jyn Erso, thank you. Yeah, for some reason that completely left my brain. I'm living Cyberfrog right now. I haven't even talked about Star Wars for a long time.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to pause this Star Wars chat because Wilberforce Worcester says Chris has a nice hat, and you're damn right I do. Sorry, but go ahead.
Good.
Any compliments about me have to be acknowledged. I appreciate it. No, go ahead.
Yeah, like they would tell me no, only one female toy per crate, you know, and it's like, well, why? Because they don't sell. And I mean, it was just like that in 1997. Playmates Toys, these guys had me in their office. They said they don't sell, and that's the problem. I mean, you know, boys do not want to play with action figures of girls, and that's something that we've noticed through tons and tons of research. And you know, Lego did a research study. Lego wanted to know why boys were playing with Legos and why girls weren't. I mean, these aren't like, you know, gendered toys. Like, why wouldn't girls want to build things with Legos? So they brought in 2,500 children, boys and girls, and they did a toy study just to see like how boys and girls played with toys differently from each other. Now, boys would take a little Star Wars or a Batman Lego figurine, and suddenly they themselves would become Batman. Okay, think about like how you play as a boy. Like if you've got a Batman toy, you feel like you're Batman, right?
Right.
And suddenly you're thinking you're Batman and you're, you know, all around. All right, so girls play the opposite. And girls take a Batman figurine and suddenly Batman is acting like them. You understand? They project themselves.
Okay, I see that.
The other way around. The girl doesn't become Batman. Batman becomes the girl.
Yeah.
And that's the fundamental difference that Lego discovered, you know, through this 2-year research study of the difference between how boys play and how girls play. It's why Barbie looks completely bland. She just looks blank. You know, she's Barbie because
they're putting them. Their girl is putting their spirit into that doll.
100%.
The doll is becoming that person.
Like them. You know, it's not like Barbie has a personality and the girl becomes Barbie. It's the other way around. Right. Whereas boys, we sit there and we want to collect different action figures of different real, like, you know, characters because we know who those characters are, and we
want to become Ahsoka.
Don't say that.
How do I make this happen? Think.
Septanov 7 of 9 says Chris's hat is much better than Ethan's hat. Well, I agree.
No, I love beanies. I was actually I was thinking about wearing a different hat almost every episode, and then this one covers my bald spot better. So I was like, you know what?
That's all it is these days.
That's all. Yeah, it's all. My children stole my hair. It's too late. I like that Black Daddy is acknowledging. It's too late, brother. I own that one. Not for long. Just add another D in there. Black Dad D or something like that. I'll think of something.
I look like a bum. You know, that's probably true.
Oh, come on.
What's the difference? I always look like a bum. You know, it's constant.
I mean, people can be a little observant. I mean, Black Daddy again. He says, "Hey, you could have gotten a new garage like the quartering new garage. Is that?" What are we talking about here? You could have gotten a new garage like the quartering. What am I missing?
I'm missing that too. I think we missed where that was a response to. Do you know who the quartering is? He's another YouTuber. He's got like 5.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, who are we talking about?
Another Jeremy, which might have been a source of confusion.
I think there was a Jeremy talk earlier because I just kind of scrolled through. I'm sorry, guys, I was missing it because I was still trying to figure out how I was going to become Ahsoka. But you just reminded me of something I read years ago.
Yeah,
that's something called it was a Christian book. I think it was called "Men Think Like Waffles and Women Think Like Spaghetti." Have you ever heard of this?
No.
The concept was that men think in blocks. Like think of the way a waffle is shaped, and that's how compartmentalized a man's mind is. When we're thinking of TV or we're watching the TV, we're in that TV block, that square. That's it. That's the only thing we're thinking about. We're thinking about football. We're thinking about football. If we're thinking about Ahsoka, I'm thinking about Ahsoka, and that's all I'm thinking about. So, or if I'm thinking of nothing, we can stare at a wall. And they say that women can't understand this. When a man is just sitting there and blanked out, and they go, "What are you thinking about?" When we say nothing, 9 times out of 10, they don't believe us because they don't think like that. But we're literally thinking.
No, you are thinking about something, but it is nothing.
It's nothing to me, right?
Right. What I would challenge you to do is my wife does this to me now, and I made this kind of agreement because I'm 45 and I'm tired of the nonsense. So I do things now that, you know, I wouldn't have done when I was 20. My wife says, "What are you thinking about?" And I literally tell her, no matter what I was thinking about, I literally tell her what was going through my mind at that point.
No matter how dark and disturbed it is.
If it's dark, and it's never like that. It's usually, you know, out of the blue, stupid, you know, just my mind is kind of going somewhere weird. And I'll say, I was thinking about the time that I was on the roof when I was a kid, and I jumped off and tried to catch the branch, and the branch broke in my hand, and I fell and landed on my ass. And I was wondering why. I was glad I didn't break my spine. And she'd be like, "That's what you were thinking about?" I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking about.
Something crazy. I was literally, before you said that story, I was literally thinking about saying something about, probably about something about jumping off of a roof. I don't know why that thought was literally in my head before you even said it. I was like, probably about jumping off a roof.
We're like exchanging psychic energy here. That's amazing. But yeah, I mean, that's all right. So you're sitting there going like, how can I play with Ahsoka? How can I become Ahsoka?
Right.
Good question.
Study, you say boys they become the character that they're playing with. If they're playing with like Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi or something like that. I know this is not Luke Skywalker.
Or Jabba the Hutt, as you can see.
Yeah, so, and then we become Jabba. Oh God, but that makes sense. Until you said that, I didn't notice. I think that is exactly how my kids play with their toys. That you're right. I'm gonna have to look that study up.
So yeah, look it up. Lego study. You know, difference boys and girls playing. But again, you're sitting there going, "How can I become Ahsoka?"
Mm-hmm.
That's correct, Chris. You don't want to. You see, that's the thing. Like, you're a little boy, you don't want to become Ahsoka. So that's why Ahsoka's toys or Rey toys or Jyn Erso toys just sit on the stands. They just sit on the pegs. They don't sell. Because instinctively, I mean, we as adults, I think I'd go, yeah, as a completist, you know, I would want to buy one of these toys.
Right.
But little boys, they don't want them. And girls are not inclined to play with action figures. They're just not, because that action figure, that Rey, is Rey. That's not her. That's never going to be you as a little girl. You can't project yourself onto Rey. Rey is already established as a character.
So do you think the question is, how do we do you try to get little girls to do that into their imagination, or do we just accept it and then just try to do what Barbie has championed?
Lego responded to this by creating a line of toys called Lego Friends that were aimed at girls in the way that they play. And you'll see them. They're in pink boxes. And the figurines are just blank figurines. It's like, this is girl with brown hair. This is black boy. This is mommy. This is daddy. This is whatever it is. And you choose what you want to be, what looks probably most like you or the people in your little family. And you project yourself onto them. That's what the girls do. And they were incredibly successful. And what do they want to do? They don't want to do extensive builds. They just want to put something together. You know, these are not difficult toys to put together. They're just simple. It
seems like girls probably want to put something together real fast so they can put themselves into that world, and they and like you said, they're in that world, but not necessarily like the whole like the Batman thing. I totally agree with you on that. I did the same thing. I was Batman. And I jumped off the sofa or off the bed and bust my head and shook it off, because that's what Batman would do. Yeah. But my daughter's name is Cassidy. I'm Cassidy in this fun environment, but it's her in there. That's total. I never even noticed it until you said that. Yeah.
So with Legos, it's like the boys would get these castle sets and they would have the castle up, you know. And they're the figures, the action figures they'd be firing cannons at each other. They'd be fighting with swords and everything. And the castle was just in the background. The girls would look at that set and go, "There's nothing in the castle. What are we going to do?" Like they want stuff in the castle. They want to furnish the castle. And it's the castle is everything. The little figurines don't mean much. They don't want to fight and play with toys. They want to just sort of expand on building the castle. They want a dollhouse. See, it's like this stuff is actually real. I mean, these toys have existed for hundreds and hundreds of years, and the way that girls and boys play has been consistent, because that's just the way. Like, gender roles do exist. As much as I think social justice warriors do want to fight that and change that through social engineering, they can't, and it's a real frustration for them.
So the next time my fiance is asking about refurnishing or doing something, I should just be like, I should just get her some Legos.
Get her some Lego friends, you know. They're built, but they're filled with furniture and things,
Right.
houses and little food, and girls like dollhouses. So this is the thing. So we have social justice warriors who are trying to change the way the girls, they're insisting that girls would like Star Wars if only there were more girls in Star Wars. Now,
to see themselves in, to possibly see themselves in the Star Wars universe. Right?
I go to my wife and I'm like, if there were more women in Star Wars, would you like Star Wars? And you know what she says? No. It's like, I don't like Star Wars. I'm a woman. I like, you know, she watches these, again, she watches these shows about buying houses and fixing up houses. She likes those Property Brothers.
HGTV. But I mean, that doesn't speak onto to the millions of women who do like Star Wars. So
there are a few that do.
So the ones that do, if you ask them that same question, what do you think?
Well, they like it the way that it is and the way that it always has been because they found it as it was. You know, it's like there are a few women who are kind of like, hey, yeah, I kind of dig Star Wars. Where did they find Star Wars? Did they just find Star Wars with the, you know, new Force Awakens, or did they find it when they were a little kid with one of the original trilogy or the prequels? You know, before there was social engineering worked into it, before people were trying deliberately to add more diversity, more women, you know, really trying to make a statement visually with these films. You know, is it working? And the answer is just go look at Toys R Us. Oh, you can't. Toys R Us is closed. You know, it's like they filled Toys R Us. They obligated Toys R Us to buy Star Wars Barbie dolls. I don't think anyone bought one.
Not that I can remember.
No, I don't think anyone has ever purchased one of those. And they'd be in the boys' aisle. Like they're really trying to sort of combine this, and they're just ignoring the fact that there are very basic and interesting differences between the way little boys play and the way little girls play that kind of remain consistent into adulthood. And we find this in the comic book industry. We find that, like, you know, the reason why there's a big divide in comics right now, it seems like the reason why things aren't really working out is comics are making a big effort to hire more women to write comics and feminists. And these women, they write differently. They write themselves into the characters. You know, in the meantime, you know, for the most part, you know, what's happening is there's a different kind of phenomenon. You and I, we write Batman and we think, you know, this is Batman. I'm not bad. There's nothing about me that is Batman. But there's this kind of,
not my bank account.
I'm writing a completely different character that I wish I could be. I aspire to be Batman, but I'm not Batman. There's this kind of impulse, and I think it's a feminine impulse to actually write yourself into these characters that already exist. And women do it definitely. I read Gail Simone's Plastic Man, and I was like, this is just Gail Simone dressed as Plastic Man. You know, it was a very, very strange thing. This is a woman and her sense of humor.
Anybody who's writing a comic book or a book or a story, wouldn't that be true about any man or woman? I mean, you're going to put yourself or your background or the way you think in the story, no matter what story you're writing. Isn't that almost true with
I think you're right from your experience. You know, I think
you bring your experience.
But you know, the question is, Chris, if you're taking over Superman, are you going to write Superman to be more like you? And your personality.
I mean, if you want it to be awesome, no, I know exactly. But that was going to be my second question. I think what you're talking about is, when you first approach it and if you immediately have that agenda before you even start writing any or drawing anything, then I see what you're saying.
But it also just comes through naturally. It's not. Sometimes it's not even deliberate. And I think if you actually said to them, you know, you're doing this, you're writing these characters as yourself. These are all self-insert characters. They would say, I don't know what you mean. They don't know any other way. But it's just like, this is just something that naturally happens because it's the difference between men and women, and the way men and women play from childhood to adulthood. The way their imaginations work are different from one another. So, you know, that's I think that's the crux of the problem that nobody really wants to address. And that is the heart of the fandom menace. You know, a lot of this is being allowed in, and people's, I don't know. I think it's damaging the integrity, you know, of things like Star Wars, and you know, we want to rebel against that.
Do you think Do you think George Lucas should come back and direct one?
Yeah, that'd be great, but he's not going to.
He's not going to. Why would I do that? I'm making so much money doing nothing. But it's funny how things have changed, because when the prequels came out, people were getting so mad about about the choices that he made, and they thought, okay, if Disney takes over, maybe it'll be a whole different thing. The fans are probably going to get exactly what they want. Now, after the Last Jedi, it's like, can George Lucas can he come back, please?
I know.
It's funny how people just never going to be satisfied. It's like,
well, George Lucas is miserable with the new trilogy. I mean,
I read that he doesn't like what's going on right now. Do you think they should just at least consult? I mean, not take every idea, because I do agree with that. One of the things that I did not like about the prequels was the fact that he was not willing. It seemed like people felt like they had to treat him like he wanted yes men around him, or maybe they were just afraid or intimidated by him, and they were afraid to give him pointers or criticize a few things because they felt like he was just gonna say no anyway. Or maybe he was just like that. Or I don't know 100%, but I wouldn't have a problem with George coming back or directing one or writing one, or Bob Iger's not gonna be afraid to tell him no on his ideas. So I a bad thing, but
I don't know. I feel like he's retired, but it's like he gave his baby away.
Yeah. For $4 billion.
$4.05 billion.
And he's getting points too at the end. Like he's still getting a percentage. Like you guys out there, do not be fooled. It wasn't just $4 billion and he's done. No, he's still getting something. George, he's going to die a very, very elite man.
Yes, like I said, I would disappear. I would not be worried about Star Wars or anything. Like, if Cyberfrog were ever to blow up to be that big, people said, "Would you sell Cyberfrog for like $4 billion?" And I'm like, and like they're looking at me like, "Would you sell it to Disney?" And I'm like, yes. It's like, are you kidding me? Of course I would, and they could ruin it too.
It's not selling out; it's cashing in. Okay,
I have like there are more important things in life. I have kids. I have a wife. I don't want to have to work forever. That would be great if I could just kind of disappear to an island somewhere nice.
There's more important things in life than being broke. Okay, let's try something different and get rich together. Why can't we just be rich?
Yeah, definitely. Why not? Let's do it.
Would I sell my stuff? Yeah, I would in a minute, in a heartbeat. I mean, that's just
because money is freedom. Money is just freedom. That's what it is. Everybody else has to work, and everyone is just kind of in servitude. Employed. The idea of being wealthy means that you're not anymore, and you can do whatever you want to do and make good choices. Make choices for yourself. Hopefully, they're good choices.
Oh no, I would definitely make all the bad choices.
Would you?
I'm like, what kind of addiction can I? No, I don't. This is I'm talking. Winning the lottery and going out there and acting like an ass. That's only saying that's what I would do.
Yeah. I would gamble a lot, man. I would have such a good time. I would live in casinos. I know it.
Exactly. I've still, to this day, I'm 39 years old and I've never gone to a casino.
Oh, I just started. Well, I mean, I didn't when I was 30 either, but I went to Vegas with my wife and gambled. No, the first time I went out gambling was with Scott Snyder and Charles Soule, and they took me to a casino in Baltimore. And
the image froze for a second. Okay, there you go. I got you.
Yeah, it keeps happening for me. It's my internet. I don't know why. But I went to a casino with Scott Snyder and Charles Soule. They're Batman writers. And I'd never gambled before. I sat down at the blackjack table. They were losing, dude. They were losing. I brought $500 that somebody gave me for original artwork at this convention. I was like, well, if I lose this, I lose this. I turned it into $3,500 at blackjack.
At blackjack?
Yeah.
Everybody always thinks that they're going to be the king of blackjack. When we're growing up, we just called it 21. But that's the game that I feel like I would play. I feel like I feel like that guy who feels like he's going to be that guy that's going to win blackjack, who inevitably loses it all. So I know I'm definitely that. I feel like that guy.
Walk away. That's all it is.
I won't. I know I won't.
You're either gonna. It's like the longer you stay, you're gonna lose. So just like get up and then and then walk away a winner. Yeah.
I'll have a big win, and then I'm like, what's his name, Gil from The Simpsons. I'm like, oh, come on, I just need another chance here. Come on. Oh, Chris needs another hand. I just need another ace up the sleeve. Come on, guys. They're gonna take my shins. Come on, guys. I feel like that's how I would act in a conceal. Brie is trying to replace Rey in the Rise of Skywalker. Oh well, yeah, let her. That's how many people I can activate. No, she's not. Is she? Well, that hasn't. It hasn't even happened, right? She's not getting a Star Wars role, right?
Who?
That Brie is trying to replace her. You think she is? I don't know.
Yeah, I think she is. I think Kevin Feige is coming from the MCU. I think Disney at this point acknowledges that the current Lucasfilm group is a failure, and they're moving Kevin Feige over. Kevin Feige, king of the universe. That's what's happening. I mean, he's taken over Marvel.
He's just taken over Marvel, like all of Marvel now, right?
Yeah, and then they're going to let him do some Star Wars.
Are the comic books going to now be considered the cinematic universe or part of the cinematic universe now?
Well, I mean, look, he's creative. He's chief creative officer. He took over Joe Quesada's role at Marvel, which means he's going to have a hand in publishing, and he's probably going to want to consolidate everything and just make, hey, look, the comics need to match the movies, which is fairly common sense. The movies are probably going to start leading the comic books rather than the other way around.
That's what I was worried about, because I like the fact that the comic books can go, it's just because it's the imagination. You can go places that the movies just won't and can't go. So now I feel like now the comic books are going to be shackled to I know that the movies are a fantastical world. It could be anything that, that it wants to be or that it can be based on what the finances is. But a comic book can literally be anything you can imagine, as long as you have a decent enough artist or whatever. You can put anything on that page. You can't really do that yet in movies. And that MCU universe, it's and that's why you guys need to pick up this book, because the
blood, honey. That's right. Always. I mean, comics are the best because you can do absolutely anything by yourself.
Unlimited power.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. Night Season. Tom Hanks. What were we talking about where you brought up Tom Hanks? I'm sorry I didn't keep up on the comments that I should have. But
I don't think I brought up Tom Hanks at all.
I don't think we brought up Tom Hanks at all. Where did that come from? Did I? Unless the question was who should kill the Emperor in Star Wars and become the new Emperor? Tom Hanks, of course.
Tom Hanks would be good at it. I trust Tom Hanks.
Let's see. Now imagine it with an extra Brie Larson. I guess what movie were we talking about for that? Hell, Peephole. The real Steve died. At the real Steve died. You getting more Hell Peephole, sir? It's not fair because you guys were seeing the comment section faster than I was keeping up with it, so that's my fault, guys. Who's this guy? I like him. His name is Ethan, and he. I'm sure that was about me. Hell, Black Daddy, you're welcome. By the way, I'm just saying. Let's see. Hell Brothers. Wow, is that I guess that happens a lot on your channel when you come on. Everybody
say hell, yeah.
They throw the hells in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure with me it's gonna be like, go to hell, Chris. I still hate Ahsoka. Oh, you're entitled to be wrong. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, definitely. 43 people watching now. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. Hey, I mean, I do what I do. I'm trying to help out, Ethan. I said, you know what? I'll throw you a bone. That's totally the other way around.
Yeah. Click that thumbs up.
This guy's awesome.
Click that thumbs up, please.
Exactly. And this guy, like I said, this guy is awesome. Like so this is the first time we've ever chat. You wouldn't know it, but this is the first time I've ever even been introduced to. And he said, Chris, you know what? I'll bless your channel with my presence, but you have to acknowledge the beanie. It's like, yes, sir. Yes, I will acknowledge them. Jeremy loves Ahsoka because it's Anna's avatar. Awesome. Do you know Stupendous 989? Jeremy loves Ahsoka. Oh, okay. I think I see what you're talking about. Jen Urso is answering the questions. Jen is like, everybody screaming at the screen. Why isn't Chris going through the comments fast enough? We're answering your damn questions, Chris. No one remembers any character.
You don't need to remember them. They're all dead.
The robot was cool. I mean,
I remember Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly. So there in your face, peephole, Darth Vader. Donnie Yen was good. He was. No one wants to remember Rogue One. I remember the good nap. Oh my gosh, you guys are relentless.
I liked it.
You did like Rogue One?
I liked Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
I did too. I mean, I liked it so much. I bought the poster, and I'm not going to admit how many of the Barbies I bought. Chris hat is greater than Ethan's hat. I disagree.
I just threw my hat on. I was like, I'm not combing my hair.
I'm not. I said the same thing. I'm not combing my hair either. Since you want to bring it up,
I'm in denial. I'm letting it go back slow.
Chris wants to get inside Ahsoka every day.
Yeah.
But no, not it. Only on the days that end with Y. Oh crap! That's what social justice warriors do when writing characters for Marvel. They can't play with our toys properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going back on the subject we were talking about. Give social justice warriors a chance. They're just trying to make you better. Activate everybody. Ethan, I was too fat to get on the roof as a kid. Thanks for making me feel bad. Lego has DC Lego girls friends.
Yeah.
Let's see. I ate 6 pounds of Legos when I was 5. You should go see a doctor about that because they're probably still there. Yeah. I mean, I don't think oh, jeez.
How do you get rid of those?
Smash like it's like it would have to be like bubble gum, right? I mean, I would think it would take a while for that to go away. Liked and subbed. There you go, Ethan. I got you another subscriber. That's all for you, buddy.
I did. I got 2 subscribers while I was on.
Why Sims is so popular with girls and women? Maybe we should ask a girl. She's asleep. I won't wake her up. My fiance is a nurse, and she's a night shift nurse. And the rule is, if you want to die, wake up a night shift nurse after a long day. And
that's tough work.
Yeah, it is. So yesterday, I thought it would be fun to tease her about how being a night shift nurse isn't that big of a deal and stuff, because I was feeling suicidal. She was not having it. I kept comparing it to what I used to do when I worked overseas. I was in Iraq, and I said, you're in a NICU. You're taking care of some babies. I had incoming mortar fire. Okay, sometimes the internet went down. It was horrible. And she was just not having it. But I don't know why Sims is so popular with the girls. My wife loves The Sims. I didn't even think The Sims were even still popular. To be honest, I haven't seen that game in so long. Cartoon Network canceled shows. They aim to sell toys for if the majority viewership is female, like Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans, I think, is probably, because I know Teen Titans Go is still popular. My wife watches YouTube videos about purses. What's wrong with that?
She likes, that's right.
Exactly. And that's probably why the phrase "I'm Batman" is so popular, because boys see themselves, they become, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I'm Batman.
Not Batman. Me, I'm Batman. It's a difference.
Exactly. Social justice warriors are deconstructing gender, but can't make money off of it. Because I haven't shown them how to. I've cracked the code. I'll help my fellow snowflakes, and we'll crack the code. We're coming. No, if that were true, EVS Batman would be a depressed, emotional.
Yeah. The new Batman book is really bad.
Is it? Is that what he's talking about? What's going on?
There's a writer named Tom King who's writing it, and he's just like, I'm putting myself into it. And Batman is depressed. He punched Robin in the face. He proposed to Catwoman. Catwoman left him on the altar.
On the same day?
Actually, well, no, he punched Robin in the face because he was upset that Catwoman left him on the altar. Okay. And Batman just sits around whining about how beautiful Catwoman is. This is not Batman. And you're like, well, why are you writing this? And he goes, it's about me and my wife. And I'm like, we don't want to read about you and your wife. We want to read about Batman. You know what I mean? It's like there's this kind of artistic impulse that goes, yes, but I'm writing what I know. And it's like, no. We don't want you to write necessarily what you know. We want you to write Batman. We want you to write things that you couldn't possibly know. You know, we want to write things that like we can't relate to, but we wish that we could. I mean, that's that's
exactly. You know what that reminds me? That reminds me of that video that Kevin Smith did when he talked about writing what Superman Lives and being brought on to do that, and the executive producer was just like, I don't want Superman to wear that cape. Who is Kal-El? And it's like, oh my god! But you don't want to, but you want the job, so you just kind of keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have held back.
Talk about that. Yeah, that was crazy.
You saw that video?
Yeah.
That was an amazing story. But you're right. No, keep your. I guess that's when it's bad, when you put yourself into. And if like you asked me that,
that's what it was. It was a lot of scenes of superheroes sitting in coffee shops because that's what the writers did.
Yeah,
they sit in coffee shops and they talk to each other about their relationships. No, that's what you do, you guys. We don't want that. Like Green Lantern should be fighting monsters in space. Like he should not be in a coffee shop.
Yeah, I don't want the Justice League to recreate that scene from Seinfeld, or be in Central Perk.
That's what it was. That's
Batman is like, we were on a break. I mean, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Oh my god! If they were true, okay. So I already read that. I don't know how this happened, but I've fallen in love with Chris. It's my eyes. Like we were talking about that earlier. Do not stare directly into them. I have a condition. I don't know. People just tend to fall in love. That was Richard L. always laughing. So I think I'm almost caught. I'm probably trying to power through as many as I can. George should write, not direct.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Star Wars. Horrible director. Amen. People chiming in on that. While Twitter was good to one thing this week. Thanks, EVS. At least he said no to Michael Jackson as Jar Jar Binks. Michael Jackson really tried to get into some movies back in the 90s. I heard that he was almost cast in Blade 2. That he did a scene that there was I don't know if you remember the love interest, the vampire who died at the end for Blade. That scene where she was going, it was like the back room where she was looking for her brother, that the villain, and she was opening doors and going down the hallway, and one of the doors that she opened was supposed to be Michael Jackson, and he was as a vampire, and he was feeding off of a victim or something that's had his food. And when she opened the door and looked at him, he was supposed to try to offer her some, and then she just like closed the door and just kept. I don't know if they said they filmed it or if it was just in the script. Or
I would love to see that.
I would love to have seen it, because I think they said that because of his skin condition, they weren't going to use that much makeup on him. No, you're good, Mike. Come on.
You already look like a vampire.
Exactly. Just keep the.
How is Michael Jackson anything else? You'd be like, that's Michael Jackson as a vampire. Like, there's no way
you taken you out of the movie.
Yeah.
But it would have been awesome. I heard he also had he almost bought Spider-Man. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
That he was interested in buying. He was fascinated with the character Spider-Man, and Stan was almost considered it, but then he's like, no, I don't think I'm going to give it. Let's see what Sony's offer. I powered through something. At least he said no to Michael Jackson's Jar Jar Binks. So yeah. Even Lucas realized he went too far with Jar Jar. Imagine his facepalm when watching Last Jedi. I bet his neck hasn't stopped. I heard that guy went through depression after that Jar Jar Binks stuff. Right? Yeah, backlash.
You goof like that.
Yeah, it was. And I heard that he's a great guy and everything, but he got really sad about how people took it, because he took it very personal. I thought the Phantom Menace would have been better if for all the aliens, I would have been okay with subtitles, like speaking in a non-English language and just subtitles. I thought that would have been perfect. Because I saw a YouTube edit where a person did that. Let's take all the things that fans have criticized this movie about, and let's edit in their suggestions. Like taking English away from Jar Jar Binks and his people, they're speaking in alien language and subtitles. It made
way better,
whole world of difference. It was awesome. So if you have a chance to check that out, check that out. And I'm going to try to power through these the comments later on. I don't know if you got enough time, but I wanted to just I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about this stuff. This was fun. And
Sure,
yeah. So if you ever want to take pity on me again, I'd appreciate it. I'd love to.
you got to come on my show.
What would I bring to the table besides all my machismo and awesomeness? I mean,
That's all you need. That's all you need. We just need more fun, charismatic people that want to talk about Star Wars and comics and stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'll even bring some of my old artwork from my drawing days and see if I'm even worthy. Maybe I'll audition to be a penciler for
my company.
Yeah,
25 thumbs up, and we got 38 people watching, guys. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up, please. That's important.
Oh yeah, always. I appreciate everybody for watching. For both channels. If you're one of my followers and you're seeing Ethan for the first time, go to his channel. He's also, I'll put the link below. Hit the like button, subscribe. For the people who are brand new and watching just because of Ethan, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I appreciate the comments. I love comments. You can already tell I get a kick out of responding to these comments, and I'm going to keep going into it. And when I share with your friends, I had a blast talking with you guys. I'm not going to lie. This was the best interview I've ever had. And I'll say the same thing again for the next person that
It's getting better, though. That's all it is.
Exactly. It's all about
it. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. It was nice meeting you. And anytime I can be on your show, just send me the link. We like to do that. We like to kind of get around and, YouTube is a big connective network. People need to grow their channels together. So I'd be happy to have you on. And appreciate you.
I'll bring the spirit of the snowflakes and the social justice warrior, and I'll try to be an ambassador.
That's not you. That's not.
Chris, stop it. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're not a social justice warrior. You might be a liberal. That's okay. We miss liberals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm just joking. No, I just what we were saying earlier is exactly. We can all get along, no matter what. And let's stop taking so much of this stuff so seriously, people. Come on, let's just enjoy these movies and have some fun with these comic books and these TV shows and everything, and all get along. So until next time, guys, I appreciate you and peace. You have to hit the end button twice.